Very quickly. I'm just thankful I did enjoy most of my holidays with not a whole lot going on the speaker's race. But a lot was going on the last two times I've been elected. Any questions about the speaker's race before I move on?
Does Strauss have 76 dedicated, pledged votes?
Not that I know of. And someone may have been, he's 3 shy?
73.
73.
But that's based on every Democrat vote.
Yeah.
No, I think there's 73 Republicans. And when I ran, I did actually, was hoping that I would get some Democrat votes for enforcing the rules impartially. And because being the minority party, that's really the only standing that they have. And our Constitution and the rules, not only, they actually protect the minority. And so I thought I could get some support there among them. Because they saw, there were times, in fact, I remember one vote in particular that I thought they were cramming things through, and I was the only Republican vote, and I voted with all the other Democrats. So I thought I had some of their conscience. But most of the time, I think many of them they want the rules as long as it's, helpful to them. And they're like all of us. We want to throw the rules out from time to time if we're not really conscientious when they don't seem to help us. Any other questions about the speaker's race?
Listening to Empower Texans, on a per capita basis, the Democrats seem to pass 2 bills for every Republican that passed a bill. Is that being fair?
I've seen some of the reports. I can't speak to it exactly, but I would say, we have moderate leadership. We do not have real solid conservative leadership. Have we influenced the leadership, the conservatives? Yes. Would we have gotten some of the things done, particularly not this last term, but the term before when Ken Paxton ran? I think policy-wise, we moved things to some degree that year. Brian, when he ran and when I ran, we ran mainly on procedure, to some degree on policy with Brian. I don't know that we made as big an impact. But the chairmen do determine whether a bill moves forward. To have a bill passed, it has to be read on the House floor, it has to be heard in committee, and then it has to be favorably referred to the Calendars Committee and then brought to the floor. So the system is designed to kill bills. We have about 6,000 to 8,000 bills that are filed every session, and thankfully most of them time kills. And I know there's some legislation that y'all would like to have passed, and that's why you send me down there. But I also have heard from you, and I've sought to do, and you'll hear more about tonight, you have to pass a bill to repeal a bill or a law. And so I always look for opportunities to actually repeal bad statutes that prohibit individual liberty and responsibility and their government intrusion. More on the speaker's race, or I'm going to move on. Yes, sir.
It's not exactly about the race, but it's about the speaker's role. Is Dan Patrick more likely than Dewhurst to arm twist Strauss to get to horse trade, to get more bills, more favorable bills through?
He's asking, will Dan Patrick, who is the lieutenant governor-elect, the one who presides over the Senate, is he going to be able to horse trade or push the House? That's what they do in private. I can't tell you. I do know that the governor and the lieutenant governor and the speaker have breakfast, or at least they did, on Wednesday mornings, and what was discussed there and what they traded, I can't tell you. It's politics, and there's a lot of horse trading. There's a lot of intimidating. There's a lot of, I'll go along with your bad bill as you'll go along with my bad bill. There's not a whole lot of principled stance. I can't speak for the Lieutenant Governor, but I'm sure he'll do his best to get his agenda pushed, and I'm sure the Speaker will as well. Yes.
On the Wallace Hall thing, Perry seemed to indicate that Strauss may have done something illegal. What's your comments on that?
Wallace Hall is a regent for the University of Texas system. And if y'all remember, I actually attended many of the committee hearings where he was, there were proceedings against him to consider his impeachment and putting a resolution before the House to impeach him for his, what I saw was courageous investigation and calling to task some questionable activities as far as how people are let in to the law school and how things are conducted there. At one point, it was asserted that Speaker Strauss's chief of staff basically told the governor that if you get Regent Hall to resign, we'll make this go away. Of course, they denied that, but the governor's staff and the governor has said that did happen and did support that. That whole process of where we punished the whistleblower, it was very egregious to me. And that committee on transparency met most of the time in private, and they would not let me ask questions. And I actually just sat there most of the time just to remind them of what they were not allowing to take place. And so I thought the committee had a monopoly on transparency. They were all for transparency as long as they controlled it. Anyway, the Wallace Hall proceedings were egregious in my opinion. Is Wallace Hall perfect? No. Am I perfect? No. But I do respect a man that will stand on principle and call people on account and push for transparency. Well, let's move on past Tuesday.